Another good morning to you on Wednesday, November 2nd. It's time for episode 134 of the 359 podcast with Roger Tang and Ben Fox Rubin. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Morning.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hi.
That was so phony.
Hello there, person that I am familiar with.
Hello, sir.
Greetings, everyone.
Toodle
on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Shut up, Ben.
Wow. Nice to be back, Roger.
Thank you. So we've got another busy day for you. Lots of great headlines. We're going to be talking about the results of CNET's iPhone 7 Plus Pixel video shootout. The winner may surprise you or not. Otherwise, we'll talk about Samsung's bid to make an all-screen phone. And lastly, Amazon trying to win our business through our kids.
Yes.
Yeah?
It's the easiest way to get your money.
It is.
It's very clearly.
If you're a parent. If you're not, then
it's a terrible idea.
Don't care at all. But for us as parents, we would take a consideration for this service, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Not yet. Not yet for us, right? I mean,
it's a monthly subscription. I don't know how many people want to get a mobile app with that, but we'll talk about that on the show.
All right. Let's get it going. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. Brian, our producer, will pick out the best and we'll answer them, or at least try.
All right.
We'll see.
This is a pretty chill show already. Let's make it happen.
Let's do this.
All right, starting the recording in 3, 2.
Welcome to the 359, where we talk about the top tech news of the day and all the other crap we want to throw in. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
So CNET's extensive tests are done, and we have a winner in the video shootout between the iPhone 7 Plus and the Pixel. And while the Pixel won the photo shootout, Apple's phone actually came out on top this time.
Yeah.
Surprising or not?
I mean, maybe. Yeah. I think that what was interesting to me about this is that the image stabilization wasn't as good with the Google Pixel, because I remember on stage Google made a very big effort to show that this is a big point.
You have to keep in mind that Apple actually has a physical image stabilization component there, so that's what makes it better. Google has a software one, and as you sort of rightly noted, like Google could theoretically make it better through software updates,
right?
And right now it's just for the camera; it's not for the video camera, which is kind of a weird misstep.
So
right?
The physical difference that you're mentioning is the fact that the iPhone 7 Plus has 2 cameras.
No. It actually has like a physical image stabilization mechanism inside.
Ooh.
And so Google says they argued with the Pixel that the software can do just as good, and it can be tweaked a little bit more, right, with software updates, so it can constantly be improved. So it's sort of like the headway for the Pixel phone is a little bit higher theoretically than the iPhone.
Yeah, it definitely makes, I think, the decision making for people a little bit harder. Obviously, it would have been nice from CNET's perspective to be like, look, if you want the best camera for photos and videos, get the Google Pixel.
Right.
Now it's a little bit more of a toss-up.
It's a little bit mixed.
Yeah, because it's like, obviously video is becoming such an important component for everybody. So it's definitely a valuable thing for people to do. And if you take a lot more videos, maybe you do want to consider the iPhone 7 Plus.
And just to note, just to list out, the advantages for the iPhone were color, image stabilization, sharpness, contrast, low light shooting, and zoom. And the Pixel did lead in the speed for autofocus, and it sometimes had nicer exposure when the iPhone had kind of went overboard with brightness. So some positives for the Pixel, but yeah, if you're interested in shooting video, the iPhone 7 Plus is the phone for you. Right.
I would probably also argue that for most regular consumers, you might not notice the difference.
That's true.
So they're probably both very, very good cameras as far as that's concerned. Next
up, a report out of Korea cited a Samsung executive saying that the Galaxy S8 could be 90% screen, so almost all screen. Now, just to note, most phones now are about 80% of the screen, so it's about a 10% bump. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that could make a big difference.
I think that sounds really cool
in terms of how it looks, right?
So the rumors are that the iPhone 8 or whatever they're going to call it is
iPhone
also
X.
going to do.
Come on.
Yeah, that's also going to do it. So the expectation for 2017 is that you're going to be seeing a lot of phones without. I don't like these terms, a chin or a forehead.
Yeah,
but
yeah, or at least a minimized one, right? Like,
yeah.
And more excitingly, the engineer is saying that Samsung's really pushing to cover 99% of the phone, which is amazing.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I think
which
that a lot of
just
people,
like a tiny frame around the phone.
I would argue that a lot of people are really getting phone fatigue, and I think that is definitely something that could get a lot of people excited about phones again and be like, you just get a lot more immersive and much more screen for the same size, which is kind of cool.
And it's interesting to note that Xiaomi's kind of done this already with the Mi Mix, which is almost
people very excited about that.
Yeah, even though it's kind of a concept and it's actually not quite all screen like they advertise when you look at it closely.
Last, Amazon just came out with a new mobile app for kids reading called Amazon Rapids. It's $2.99 a month, and it's kind of this clever little take on kids reading where it's basically original stories told through text messages.
Yeah.
So is this something that you would be into?
I don't know. What's the age range for this? What's the intended age for it?
It's 7 to 12, so your kid's not quite yet.
I'm about 7 years away from even considering this. I don't know. It's clever because it uses a medium that kids are going to be familiar with.
Totally.
But I don't know. It's just I haven't quite figured out how much screen time my kid's going to have. So that's the issue.
The monthly cost, I think, is a little bit steep at this point.
$3 a month?
Yeah. But I do like the idea. So we'll see what happens with it.
That sort of amounts to one children's book a month, right?
Sure.
Or even less than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in that sense, it's kind of a good deal for a short period of time. I don't know if I want to be on the hook for like several years on this service. So
I guess so.
I don't know. For more about these stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
Thanks for listening.
And we're back to hit up the chat. And thanks, everyone, for all the kind words. We're happy to have you. Hey to Iran. Hey to Puerto Rico. Hey to Seattle.
All right.
Oh, hey, everybody.
And hey to our old buddy, Michael Brown.
All right.
Michael Brown, our favorite.
The answer to the title, no.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Does the iPhone outshoot the Pixel? No. Okay.
Apparently, he did a similar test as we did. He and a coworker between New York and DC took side-by-side photos.
Interesting.
But he
photos
says that
or videos? Photos.
He says he specifies photos.
Okay. Right.
Pictures were close in between, but the Pixel was a clear winner in his book.
So look, we found similar results with the cameras as well for photos. Mm-hmm. Just to be clear, this test was for videos. We did pretty extensive ones side by side, and at least to our experts' eyes, the iPhone 7 Plus won out on video again, not photos, on video.
Yeah, and I would say that on the photo side, it is a bit of an embarrassment for the iPhone. The iPhone has been very well known for having one of the best cameras out there. Right. So the fact that Google edged them out a little,
I don't know if it's an embarrassment. I mean, it's like they edged them out. I mean, sure, Apple's had a great reputation for a solid camera on its phone. I don't think that changes. Like, it still has a very excellent phone or camera. I don't know if it's an embarrassment. I think it's a surprising win. It's a nice coup for Google,
especially for like a first generation phone.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not exactly established, right? It's not like this huge. If it was Samsung, that might have been a bigger deal, right?
Totally. Well, Samsung's been making a big deal about their cameras for years, and they're talking about low light settings,
and they have been
and all
good.
That
their
stuff.
cameras are great.
Yeah,
but it's always kind of been like a toss up. So
they're non-explodey cameras. Sorry,
the non-explodey versions, right?
It's unavoidable.
Here's a note from Robert. iPhone limits 4K recording to 5 minutes for video because Google offers free storage to Pixel.
Yeah.
Do they limit 4K recording as well?
That's a very good question. We don't know.
We have no idea.
None of us have touched the Pixel yet.
Yeah. IAS has one in the office, and
That's
I can't
true,
wait to get my hands on it.
We should go bug him after this and bring it back in phone tomorrow's
I'll just do it
show.
right now. I'll see you guys in a bit. No, we will get an answer to you guys about that because that's an interesting point. I mean, the thing about limiting your 4K video is kind of smart because that eats up so much of your storage.
Oh, totally.
If you were just shooting 4K video nonstop, I mean, I don't know how long it would take for you to hit your limit, but it wouldn't be that long.
It wouldn't be that long.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool that you can shoot in 4K if you do want to blow up the video.
They all
can
though at this point. So it's that's kind of like a standard feature now, right? Having 4K for a high-end phone. For a high-end phone.
For a couple of years now, or
at least
a year
2
or
years.
two. Yeah.
They've been saying in the chat, iPhone camera hasn't been up to snuff since the 5S.
Is that true? I don't know. I feel like the combination of software and hardware has sort of kept Apple kind of above the pack in terms of camera quality.
I going back to what I said during the podcast, I do believe that if you're going to get a flagship phone from Samsung, Apple, or now the Google Pixel, most consumers probably aren't going to tell these small differences. And this is for people that are like really, really big shutterbugs, or they love taking a lot of video. Maybe you're going to notice like some really significant differences or some nice differences if you're going to pick this one over the other one. But generally speaking, those three, sets over there, they're generally good.
You're not going to go wrong.
Yeah, it's way better than like if you were going to get like an entry level phone, so.
EJC TV says the Pixel is a bad knockoff of the Apple phone, and Apple should sue them.
It is entirely possible. Could happen.
Apple has sued companies before for less.
More than a few times.
It definitely. My immediate impression when I saw the Google event was that there were obvious elements that made it look like an iPhone because it had the rounded edges.
Right.
For
me, it was a metal frame with the antenna lines that kind of looked like the previous generation iPhone. I don't know. It's got a glass back,
And they have the
fingerprint sensor.
The fingerprint sensor in the back, which is the biggest difference.
The thing of it is, a lot of these phones, given that they all kind of use the same material now, they're all going to kind of look alike. Like you can look at the Galaxy S7, and go, well, that kind of looks a lot like the iPhone too. Like
that's why I like the edges. The Samsung Edge phones do kind of push the design a little bit differently, and you can immediately identify those phones.
I'm still annoyed by those edges, like the touch part.
I haven't spent a ton of time with them. I just when I see
it's
them,
gotten better. I still am not happy with my S6 Edge because the curvature is just so dramatic that
you can't like hold it as well.
No, when you're typing, like the edge of the keyboard is a little bit on the iffy side. Like you mistype a bit. So they fixed it a bit with the last version.
Okay,
and then they started making
hopefully
phones, so.
It's maybe people will go more toward the S8 than the S8 Edge, because if you're going to get so much more screen real estate,
right,
then maybe you don't need the edges as much.
The thing. I mean, the Edge is a cool aesthetic feature, but I don't know if it's really that useful. I don't necessarily know if I want to buy a phone for like that Edge.
Well, when they first came out with, what was it? Was the Note Edge?
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was a gimmick. Or a lot of people thought it was a gimmick.
No one really bought it.
Yeah.
It was like one side.
So I was surprised that they kept building on it. But
I mean, look, it lets them stand out from the pack.
Mm-hmm. Mitchell says the LG V20 is the superior camera overall.
Interesting.
It's funny. I think our review is either up now or was posted recently. No one seems to care about that phone. I feel bad because it's a decent phone.
They're marketing it.
It's a metal phone that has a removable back, which is kind of nice. No one else really has that now.
Mm-hmm.
The LG has kind of kept up with that whole like removable battery, SD card slot, all the stuff
which is a huge money saver in the long
nice.
run.
Yeah,
for people.
but no one seems to care about that phone. I don't know why. Like carriers aren't support. I mean, they're selling it, I guess, but they're not like really promoting it, and so you don't see a huge amount of attention for that phone.
I saw a commercial for it, I think yesterday or the day before. So I think LG is trying to promote it a little bit more. So maybe we will.
I don't know.
Hear more
I imagine
it.
after the G5 blow up that they've been a little bit more cautious about this launch.
Sorry, what's that?
The last phone that the LG G5, which was their flagship from March, really just completely
did not do well.
No, it just failed completely.
Wow.
Yeah, people just didn't want the whole modular thing. This was a back to basics type phone.
Okay.
Very good camera. Great screen, like super high-end specs, but between the iPhone and the Pixel, no one's really kind of noticed the.
I was hopeful the modular phone was going to work out.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a cool idea.
That was a cool idea.
Definitely a cool idea.
It's just I don't know, whatever.
Lego phone.
We were talking about James Bond before. I thought that would be a kind of James Bond phone. You would, snap on the taser function and attack some bad guys.
All right.
So Q is just an app developer now?
Right.
Yeah, well,
Sounds about right.
They're the hipster guy that they employed for the...
Let's not get back to this conversation again.
Who
We
was
don't
that?
need to
Ashton
drag this
Kutcher?
entire
Who was that
YouTube
guy?
audience through our hatred of James Bond.
No,
My
through Brian's.
hatred of
Through
James
James.
Bond.
Yeah, I actually
New
like
James Bond.
I like some of the new ones, but whatever.
That's
Dan
right.
posted.
We have a pre-show that you guys aren't privy to sometimes.
Dan posed a really good question: if cameras will actually cause people to switch from iOS to Android and vice versa. I'm interested to hear feedback about that in the chat. I don't.
Yeah.
If you guys have 2 cents on that, but I'm more interested in.
I would say no. I mean, I think the camera is still a huge factor. I think it's a bigger factor if you're an Android user because it determines which Android device you're going to buy. It's less of a factor if you're iOS versus Android because I feel like the transition from one operating system to another is so annoying and so painful that people rather would not do it. And both Google and Apple have done a really good job of like keeping you in their respective ecosystems, whether it's like services like Gmail or apps or whatever on the Google side, or like iTunes and iCloud on the Apple side. It's kind of a pain to switch. So, and I know they've both tried to make it easier by like offering apps that allow you to kind of transition. It's still the differences in how you use iOS versus how you use Android are still significant enough that like you're gonna be kind of annoyed the first couple of weeks using it.
I think Google is definitely trying to play that card, though. I think
Definitely.
when they did their presentation, they were saying that they benchmarked their camera and it was described as the best camera ever. So they were definitely trying to use it as a differentiator.
A little misleading because that firm had not come out with a report on the 7 Plus yet.
Oh,
so it was
really misleading.
It was the best camera at the time. I don't actually know what the score was for the Plus, if it actually had come out. But
was that a well-known benchmark company, by the way, because it was obscure to me.
DxO? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know.
Switching gears back to the S8, what will the other cool feature be besides the screen?
More screen. I don't know. I don't know what they can do.
We're getting a lot
Yo,
of
dog, I heard you like
S8.
screens, so we got a screen for your screen so you can screen while you screen. Sorry, I had to bring back an old meme for that one.
I don't know what else. I think that's the issue that
I feel
these
like
companies
maybe
face.
Samsung is trying to play to the basic and play it cool. After the Note 7 was such a horrifying launch, I think they want to get the S8 out there,
the S8,
make sure that it works.
doesn't explode.
Right, it's explosively good. So
that would be the ballsiest
would be
tagline
really
ever.
dumb. But I think that one of the problems with the Note 7 was that maybe they tried to cram too much in there too quickly, and it caused some problems. So my expectation would be that they're going to make a really good screen and hopefully not try to add too many more bells and whistles
I imagine they'll have
to
the Retina scanner that showed up in the Note 7. That might pop into the Note or the S8. In terms of other features, are there any other kind of wish list features that are left, like that you really, really need or want?
The bigger screen is, I still feel like the bigger screen is one of those things that's really going to help push forward smartphones and actually make them more interesting looking. I mean, beyond
maybe a
that,
different material, maybe it's a ceramic instead of glass. I don't know.
or made out of wood or concrete.
Motorola tried that.
A wood phone?
Bamboo back.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I don't remember that either.
The Moto X.
Yeah, my head just exploded.
You can customize the back with leather, bamboo, all kinds of different materials.
Good Lord, they've tried everything.
Oh, yeah.
So the other thing that
done.
I'm going to mention this, the other thing that we've been waiting for, and this is probably a couple of years down the line, are like bendable and rollable phones.
Yeah.
So that'll maybe be something
that is
eventually.
I feel like that's not next year. Maybe
No,
2 years.
no.
2 or 3 years. It's really not. The thing of it is Lenovo showed it off. They showed off bendable wearables and phones that were concept devices. It's the challenge isn't the screen. It's like getting all the material, everything underneath, the components underneath.
Right, the battery. Like, how do you get a battery?
Fold a
to
battery?
bend?
Right.
Yeah.
Or how do you roll a battery?
I don't know. They are going to figure it out, though.
Oh, yeah.
They have to get us to keep buying devices. This is what they're working on.
And what are the rumor mills obligatory about the iPhone 8 already? We've heard wireless charging.
Wireless charging, the
Huge
all
screen.
screen removal of the home button.
Those are pretty
the
big.
big ones.
Those are the big
Again,
ones.
rumor mill.
Yeah.
We're hearing it the same as you.
We don't actually know. Apple doesn't talk to us. Specifically, they talk to other folks at CNET. They just don't care about us.
It is interesting that we are already rumoring the iPhone, the new one from next year.
I know.
Right, we've had it like 2
iPhone
months.
7's been out for
The
about a month
iPhone
and a half.
7 just came out.
Well, I mean, Scott and I wrote a story about the iPhone 8 like 2 or 3 days after the
You know
iPhone
what
7
I
came
would?
out.
You know what I would really love for the iPhone 8? That they bring back the headphone jack. I'm not happy.
We had the
about this
courage
thing.
to admit we were wrong.
I completely agree. Why come out with MacBooks that have the headphone jack if you have the courage to get rid of them in your iPhone? Like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I think that was that Sean's complaint? Somebody complained. That was not my idea. Somebody else from CNET mentioned that in a story.
I'm sure there was a Dongle Mania story that we wrote.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything about a 4K display with the S8?
Okay,
with
with 4K on phones, though, are you really going to tell the difference? Like,
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if
Somebody will care. Somebody
I
cares,
wouldn't be
obviously.
surprised.
it's a marketing point.
Well, there are 4K phones out there.
Mm-hmm.
Sony makes a 4K display on its Xperia, the high-end Xperia phones. I wouldn't be surprised if Samsung loaded it because they just love specs. They love.
I
they
continue
love
to
piling
think that
on
like
the extra features.
you would have to like stare directly into it to actually tell the difference, I think. But
Like this.
right, which I guess for
Like
VR
this.
maybe it makes
Actually,
sense.
it does make sense for VR.
Okay,
For sure.
all right, then that is a
In
usage
fact, they're
that might
saying
make
like
sense.
4K is not even sufficient. Like to like a truly immersive experience on your phone, like you need like an 8K display or something. Yeah. So there are practical uses for it that most people aren't going to take advantage of. 'cause
That being said, we're
no
not
one really
really
cares about VR that much.
4K displays are not mainstream quite yet, other than
No.
that Sony phone that you just mentioned, and maybe some others. But
Totally niche.
8K, that's probably not coming next year either. Because
no,
we're
no,
still
no.
waiting on the whole VR thing.
That's further down the line, and yeah, most people don't use VR, so it's not an issue. But adding the 4K element plus a high refresh rate to a phone that definitely helps with VR.
You know what I would like to see? If you could use the Surface Dial on a phone. Never mind. That's a
I don't
terrible
think it
idea.
actually fits
wouldn't
on
fit.
the phone. It's like too big. It's
You
like
wouldn't be able to see the display.
What about I just totally lost. Lost my train of thought for a second, but if they ditch the Lightning port and go with USB-C.
That would make a lot of
be
sense to
amazing.
me. That would make
That's
a
not gonna
lot
happen
of sense
at
to
all.
me.
So Apple makes way too much money off of the Lightning port because companies, accessory makers
Third
have
parties,
to
yeah.
pay Apple for the rights to officially use Lightning. So
Whereas USB-C is a broad standard that,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe somebody in Switzerland is getting paid for it, but it's certainly not Apple.
someone from Intel, it's an Intel-based product.
Is that right?
Yeah, not
interesting.
product. It's like the original USB was Intel.
So does USB, I don't know the answer to this at all. Is USB, can you be used for audio the same way Lightning can be?
Yes.
Okay.
It can. That's the thing. That's why I feel that most of these other companies are going to drop the headphone jack as well and just go with USB-C.
That's right. Yeah. Shanklin wrote about that recently. So
And Intel has talked about the audio, like the benefits of using USB-C instead of an audio jack.
So in theory, the Google Pixel could have lost the headphone jack as well if they
But
decided
they just weren't
wanted to do
courageous
that.
enough.
They weren't courageous at all.
No, but it's going to happen. We're going to see more and more phones that drop everything except for a USB-C port. It's going to happen. Or maybe two USB-C ports.
I don't know about this.
We'll see.
Dongle phone.
Dongle phone.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying for me now because I've got 15 headphones like hanging around the house, but now I'll have to find like the one specific one that only works on this phone. It's like,
Mind numbing. I don't like it at all.
Anyways, let's wrap things up.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. It's been fun.
Great questions,
Yeah.
guys.
If you liked
Thank
anything you saw or heard here, check us out on CNET. Our podcast is also available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, FeedBurner, and Google Play Music.
And check us out on CNET.com. Why don't you?
Thanks for that assist.
See you guys tomorrow.
See y'all tomorrow.
Thanks.
Well, not me.
Not me.